I asked the stage team if they could have like a dinosaur appear back there while I was coming on there. They looked at me funny and they were like, not sure about that. Good morning. Good morning. Now, let's start by taking a trip to the future. Imagine the world a century from now. The year is 2117. It's the start of the 22nd century. We're in a history class with a young girl who is reading about the 21st century. She reads about a great organization that healed the sick, sheltered the homeless, fed the hungry, taught the uneducated, helped grow economies, and eradicated polio. She's reading about Rotary International. The more she continues reading about the great humanitarian work that Rotary did in the 21st century, the more intrigued she is. She thinks to herself, wow, I wonder how I can join. Then she turns to the next page and her heart sinks. She reads on to learn that by the mid-21st century, Rotary suffered major membership loss as many of its members aged out. By the late 21st century, only a few dozen Rotary clubs still existed because thousands of Rotary clubs had failed to attract younger generations to Rotary. And the chapter, which was titled, "The Downfall of the Greatest Service Organization," concluded with a note that the last Rotary Club had officially shut its doors at the end of the 21st century. Now let's return to the present. I first joined the Rotary family as an interactor when I was 14. Just like the young girl from the story, I was awestruck at the amazing work that Rotary does. Instead of learning about Rotary from a book, I experienced Rotary through service and learned about the 1.2 million member organization from my local Rotary clubs. Now that I'm 28 years old, the world around me has drastically changed. As President-elect Ian mentioned, computers are now pocket-sized. Self-driving cars are now on the road. Virtual reality is actually a reality. Phone books are all but extinct. And people find information now online. But two things still seem to be a constant. I'm still awestruck at the amazing work that Rotary does. And Rotary is still at the same global membership count as it was half my lifetime ago, 1.2 million members. It's almost as if Rotary has been frozen in time as the world around us speeds on ahead. Consider this. Over half of the world's population is under the age of 35, yet less than 4% of Rotary membership worldwide is under that age. This is painfully obvious at your average Rotary conference, and when you look around at the demographics of many of our Rotary clubs. There are now more millennials in the workforce than any other generation. As our clubs slowly realize the importance of attracting millennials, 10 years from now, that percentage will have already shifted to the next generation, Generation Z, as they enter into the workforce over the next few years. Over 360,000 babies are born each day. That's more than 250,000 babies. That's 360,000 people every day that don't know about Rotary yet. Every year, that gulf widens between these young potential members and the current generation of Rotarians. And the average Rotary club and district fall behind even further. Clubs struggle or don't choose to keep up with technology, like updating their websites or using social media to raise awareness of younger generations. Over the next 3 decades, the demographics and the culture of our organization is going to go through a drastic shift. It's already started. Consider it the great membership storm of our time. Some of the change will be intentional and by design from agents of change such as yourself, and perhaps those sitting to your left and to your right today. And some of that change will be forced upon clubs by much harsher change agents, time and entropy. Today, we must ask ourselves these questions. Do we want to drive the change or become victims of it? What is the legacy we want to leave behind? Do we want to continue doing the same thing we have been doing for years because it's comfortable? Or are we willing to step out of our comfort zones to become agents of change because we recognize we can do better? The prolific author, Anonymous, said, "If you always do what you've done, you always get what you've always gotten." And that applies to every Rotarian at every level, including to each of you, governors-elect. What do you plan to do differently from your predecessors to meet the future? And is that the best you can do? How do you plan on inspiring your incoming presidents and their members to be forward-thinking? What have you already done to hit the ground running when your year begins? When I ask district governors what they wish they could have done differently if they could go back in time, there's always one response that I hear more than any other, and that is that they wish they would have planned more in advance and they would have gotten more of the right people on their team in advance. Because once their year started as governor, being governor was all they had time to do. Governors-elect, after a week of training, you are each stronger, wiser, and more prepared to become governor than ever before. But what more can you do? What more can you plan? Who else can you assemble to help you inspire others? Creating change in Rotary can be difficult, yet sometimes, with the right people beside you, it can be magical. Today, I want to part with each of you a strategy of what I think empowers people to become active in Rotary. The strategy is that there are 3 factors that lead to better performance and personal satisfaction: autonomy, mastery, purpose. Autonomy is our desire to be self-directed. For example, Atlassian, an Australian software company, once a quarter tells their developers that for 24 hours, they can do anything they want as long as they show the company what they did with their time. They also make it so that the 24 hours is crafted as a fun time with drinks and food. It turns out that one day of autonomy is more productive for the company than any other day, with more new features and bug fixes coming out on that single day of autonomy than any other day. Let me give you another example. In my home district of District 5170, over 10 years ago, Rotarians gathered a group of Interact leaders throughout different clubs in the district and empowered them by giving them the autonomy to lead their peers, to train their peers, and to organize their peers. These Interactors, high school students, took that autonomy and grew Interact from 4,000 Interactors district-wide to over 8,000 Interactors, who now collectively raise over $150,000 US annually for charity. That growth and that potential and passion from the Interactors from my home district isn't because of Rotarians holding their hands. It's because they were given the autonomy to self-direct and to lead their peers. Autonomy. Now, mastery is our desire to become masters of our craft. Have you ever wondered why some musicians perform for free, or Wikipedia, the world's largest online encyclopedia, exists, despite the fact that all of their entries are submitted by volunteers, and their entire system was coded by highly qualified technical engineers who devoted their very limited free time to create this entire online platform for free? It's because practicing their craft more, whether or not it's music or software code, can get them closer to mastering their craft. Mastery. Now, people also want to achieve a higher sense of purpose. If you went up to someone and asked them, "Hey, do you want to volunteer your limited free time to help me code a project that I can't pay you for, but will take hundreds of hours?" You're less likely to get someone to commit than if you ask them, "Hey, I'm assembling a team of incredibly talented individuals with the mission of creating the greatest and the largest free encyclopedia the world has ever seen. I'd like you to join the team. Are you in?" And likewise for Rotary, consider this. Would you rather ask someone, "Will you join me for at 7 a.m. service project on a Saturday for 5 hours?" Or would you rather ask them, "Hey, are you free this Saturday at 7 a.m.? We're going to package 10,000 meals for the hungry." Purpose. Now, these 3 factors are not new or innovative. Author Dan Pink did much of the research to help us put into words these 3 factors, which many of you already knew, but perhaps couldn't compose into words yet. Siegel and Gale's study on Rotary proved to us that many people stay in Rotary because they want to make an impact in their local and global communities. Yet, there is so much more we can do to create a culture that successfully empowers our members and gives them autonomy, mastery, and purpose. Ask yourself this: how much of your plans are devoted to providing Rotarians in your district with autonomy, mastery, and purpose? How much of those plans are devoted to involving Rotarians who don't already hold leadership positions and acronyms like PDG? How many of those plans are devoted to nurturing the younger Rotarians who will become the future of Rotary after the storm passes? It's true that this shift in culture needs to happen at a club level, but it can also start at the district level. Each of you are here today because you're in a unique position to influence and inspire change in Rotary. I wish I could tell you there's a secret recipe for success and it fits every district. But the truth is that one of our biggest strengths is also one of our greatest struggles, that every Rotary district and every Rotary club is so incredibly different from the next. It's like we're at the cereal aisle of a grocery store. There's a whole section of cereal called Rotary Club, and from the outside, they all look the same. Sure, there are 4 flavors: frosted, regular, chocolate, fruity. The frosted ones are our morning clubs, the regular ones are our noon clubs, and the chocolate ones are our evening clubs, and the fruity ones are our E-clubs. I'm part of an E-club, so I can say that. From an outsider or non-member's perspective, you would expect that every regular flavor Rotary Club cereal box would have the same kind of cereal inside when you open it up, that our product would have a standard or consistency. But that's just not the case. When you open up a Rotary Club cereal box, it might look like this: plastic toys mixed with cereal, and when you open up the next Rotary Club cereal box, you get rainbow unicorns and marshmallows. Just like every Rotary Club cereal box is going to be different inside, every Rotary Club you visit is going to have a different club culture. It's going to be different from the next Rotary Club. We know that this is true because we have visited many Rotary meetings. The challenge here is that the rest of the world does not know that. A lot of our members don't know that. When you're a district leader of a brand where there's no consistency in your product, it's up to you to come up with an out-of-the-box solution that is catered to your district and consistent with your brand. And you don't have to wait around because they're local solutions. In every district, you can assemble Rotarians from a variety of different generations to help you come up with an innovative solution catered to your district by empowering them with the 3 factors we talked about: autonomy, mastery, purpose. For example, in the United States, we've seen a variety of young professional summits organized and successfully executed. These summits are not lecture-based, and focus on giving young Rotarians the opportunity to become the content of the summit by giving them a safe space for them to brainstorm any idea that they can imagine to help Rotary be more attractive to their peers. The built-in autonomy that's encouraged, coupled with the sense of purpose of growing Rotary, have led to amazing projects spearheaded by young professionals, such as other young professional summits, and massive Rotary public relations events, such as multi-state Rotary publicity tours. Consider creating local events that bring together local Rotarians to self-direct their own ideas, bring in their own expertise or craft, and give them the purpose of becoming the most innovative Rotary district in the world. Autonomy, mastery, purpose. One of my favorite things to see when I hear about Rotary district governors who have made it their mission to diversify their district positions to be cross-generational. Consider opening district positions to younger members, younger Rotarians, Rotaractors, or even interactors. And consider pairing experienced leaders with less experienced leaders as co-chairs or co-directors. And this doesn't have to be just limited to your district cabinet positions, but can be extended to your district events, such as district conference committees and master of ceremonies. Don't just tell people you want to attract younger members, empower more people. Show everyone that you're doing it by having younger members share the limelight with you in your district cabinet and at your district events. Not only does it empower your fellow Rotarians, but it also lets them stretch their creativity when you let them be self-directed. It gives them a chance to become better leaders, and it gives them a sense of purpose in Rotary. Autonomy, mastery, purpose. For me, Rotary was that first organization that believed in me and made me feel like my voice was important. If it were not for the countless Rotarians who had believed me throughout the past years, giving me the opportunity to present workshops, to hold Rotary offices, I wouldn't be standing before you here today. A year ago from today, I stood on the same stage and I did what any passionate, sane web designer with limited time would do. I offered one free landing page website for every Rotary Club in the world. This service, called Project Doing Good, was launched and offered by my company, Kendeavor. And it's the perfect way to give back to an organization that has given me so much, that I owe so much to. And it's also a perfect way for my team to help master their craft of a massive web platform while giving us a sense of higher purpose. I'm excited to announce that since we launched the free landing page service 7 months ago, we've had over 500 Rotary clubs sign up and create free landing page websites. Our goal was simple: to help Rotary clubs tell their story digitally to the public. We hope to help 2,000 more Rotary clubs by the end of this calendar year. But I'm not stopping there. Beginning February 1st, my team and I are expanding our Project Doing Good website, which is doinggood.io. And we're going to include a curated list of membership best practices from Rotary thought leaders throughout the world. We want you to know you are never alone. If every person in this room takes it upon themselves to inspire just 3 younger people, younger than yourself, and give them autonomy, mastery, and purpose, we'll be on the right track. And 100 years from now, when that young girl reads about Rotary in that 21st century history book, instead of her heart sinking, she'll smile as she learns that in the mid-21st century, Rotary surpassed its membership stagnation. And by the end of the 21st century, Rotary was 1.2 billion members strong, with clubs in every country. We are stronger together, we serve humanity better together, and together we can make a greater difference. Thank you.